Cranial nerve number 7 is going to be the facial nerve, which is a sensory and motor nerve, and it will actually pass through the internal acoustic meatus and the stylomastoid foramen. Cranial nerve number 8 is vestibulocochlear, which is a sensory nerve involved with detecting hearing and also balance. It will pass through the internal acoustic meatus. Cranial nerve number 9 is called glossopharyngeal, which is, again, both a sensory and motor nerve. It will pass through the jugular foramen along with a couple more. Vagus nerve is cranial nerve number 10, and we saw this nerve previously running in between the common carotid artery and the internal jugular vein. Now this will pass through the jugular foramen and is both a sensory and motor nerve. Cranial nerve number 11 is spinal accessory nerve, or you may just see it called accessory nerve. This is a motor nerve passing through the jugular foramen. Cranial nerve number 12 is hypoglossal nerve, which is a motor nerve that will pass through the hypoglossal canal. Looking at the brain from an inferior view, we got a lot going on here, but if we work in groups, this gets a little bit easier. So cranial nerve number 1 is the olfactory, which you see underneath the cerebrum here. So we'll label that 1. We see this optic chiasm, this X shape right here. So this tells us this is cranial nerve number 2. Now, cranial nerve 3 and 4, oculomotor and trochlear, come off from the same part of the brain, and one will be more medial and one will be more lateral. So the medial one will come first. So this is oculomotor right here, number 3. Coming off laterally will be trochlear, this really tiny nerve right there. Trigeminal comes off the lateral aspect of the pons, and it's a pretty big nerve coming by itself. So there's 5. Our next group is going to be 6, 7, and 8. So 6, abducens, will be the most medial one. The middle one here will be facial, number 7. And then number 8, vestibulocochlear, is all the way on the lateral side of this group of 3 here. Our next group of 3 works superior to inferior. So number 9, glossopharyngeal, will be the top one. This middle one will be vagus, number 10. And then 11, spinal accessory, is this one right here. And it gets its name because it runs the same direction as the spinal cord here. Now, number 12, hypoglossal, will be coming from the medial aspect right here. So there's 12. So if you keep them in groups, it gets a little bit easier. Now, looking at just this internal structures that we saw previously, we can still work through the same exact cranial nerves, just working in our pairs. So first off, cranial nerve number 1, olfactory, is going to be on the cerebrum. So since the cerebrum is removed from this picture, we're not going to have an olfactory nerve. But this X shape right here, real easy landmark to find, tells us there is number 2. 3, oculomotor, comes more medial. And on this side, it's not shown, but it'd be coming off about right there. So there is 3, oculomotor. 4, trochlear, comes off laterally here. 5, trigeminal, coming off the lateral aspect of the pons. And then we have a group of 3, 6, abducens, 7, facial, 8, vestibulocochlear. Then we have 9, 10, and 11 in a group. So 9, glossopharyngeal, 10, vagus nerve, then spinal accessory going down. And then we have number 12, hypoglossal nerve, coming from the medial aspect of the medulla. And then that will complete chapter 15.